All right, guys. Fula coming to you with another video. Shout outs to the whole LDBC. I'm just gonna tell you this interview is with the coach of Jose Bolivita Uzcátegui that I did recently. And so yeah, let's get right to it.
Top of the top. Thank you very, very much. The first question I have basically is, just let people know who you are and also let them know what star fighter that you actually have the blessing of coaching as of right now in the boxing world.
Good morning. Thank you, man. Thank you for the interview. My name is Jose Cital. I'm from San Diego, California. I currently train former IBF super middleweight champion of the world, Jose Uzcátegui.
Okay, thanks, bro. Thank you, man. Always like to interview the guys who, are always like the dark horses, the guys that people don't see coming at times, but they just come. But anyhow, how did you connect with Jose Uzcátegui? How did you guys link up?
We linked up about 5 years ago in Tijuana. I have another fighter named Jolene Blackshear. She's retired. She's a former world champion as well. But in one of her fights we met, then he crossed the border. I was working at a local gym here in San Diego, and he came looking for sparring. I found one of my friends to work with them, and then we ended up just working together. So it's been 5 years since we've been working together.
That's definitely what's up. Now, as far as him being back in the mix with things, when do you think he will, I know he just had a fight recently. When do you expect Uzcátegui to, get back into, how should I say it, the title contention? What do you have planned in regards to that?
Well, we're hoping to be back in November. I mean, we've had some issues with our promoter and things like that where they don't want to put us in big fights. That's why the fight with Dennis fell through. We know what we're worth now, so we're not just going to take peanuts no more. I feel the fight with Caleb, he beat us. Clearly, we're not going to say no excuses. It wasn't our night. But I don't think we got beat to the point where we shouldn't be either getting offered a rematch or a title eliminator or nothing like that. But I mean, no one seems to want to fight us. We called out all the European guys. I mean, we're ready for anybody. He's ready for anybody. It's just the promotions don't do nothing for us. So, it's been hard, but hopefully November.
Man, that sucks. Hopefully the promotions iron their way through. But anyhow, I have a question. Like, when you train Uzcátegui, what type of fighter do you train him to be? What are the strengths that you mainly play to in his training regimen? Because we know he do hit hard. We definitely know that. But what else do you incorporate with him? And as far as the Caleb Plant rematch, do you think that's a likely thing? And did he learn some things in that fight that he can carry on to the rematch that would make him successful? Because personally, in the first fight, I felt that, he was on the verge of the stoppage of in the 10th round or something. And then, Caleb Plant clinched, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things that we could say went wrong and all that, but we're just the type of people that don't make excuses. And definitely we learned from that fight, and it's not just him learning, it's myself. And the type of fighter that I train and the attributes we have is he has very underrated boxing skills, Obviously with a fighter like Plant, we have to press. I mean, we could box him too, but it was just that's how the cards played that night. I mean, if we fight again, I'm sure it won't be the same result. But when it comes to how I train him, I mean, we train for everything, to be adaptable. That's the type of fighter I want him to be. Like you said, everyone knows he has power, but he has boxing abilities too. It's just certain fighters bring that out of you, and certain fighters bring certain things. One thing Plant was right, the whole camp when he was talking about was the whole underestimating him, and I think Jose underestimated him a bit, and wasn't fully prepared to start that way. You could tell towards the end he wanted to pick it up, but it was a bit late, and Plant solved it. He's very smart. He's a very smart fighter. We just made a lot of errors, but like I said, no excuses. He beat us. He was the better man. Would we love the rematch? Absolutely. You know what I mean? But we're ready for any other champion. It's just Jose is such high risk, low reward. If Jose was full Mexican, we would still be fighting for world titles. But since he's from Venezuela, the fan base isn't as big. So sometimes we have to play these like Mexico fights and all this shit, because he doesn't get the same type of exposure as other fighters do. And it's, we all know boxing is very race-based. If you're a Mexican, you have a country behind you. I'm Mexican, but I'm not the one fighting. But yeah, man, like I said, we're ready for anybody. We've called out. I've called out people. He's called out people, but no one seems to want to fight him.
Yeah, man, that's how it is with a lot of skilled fighters. I can go down the list of skilled fighters who, you would think that they deserve to have these fights, these big fights, but like you said, it's low reward. Another question I have is, what does Jose and you as well make of the fact that, David Benavidez this past weekend, he just claimed another championship. Now, do you and Jose say, well, that's impressive and all, but I don't really see anything that could bother me, and on your end, you don't see anything that can really bother your fighter? Because I remember there was one interview with Uzcátegui, and he said, he doesn't really see anything special with David Benavidez. Granted that he just did what he did right now, does his opinion, or even does your opinion of him change at all?
So, no, David Benavidez, his dad, we're all good friends. That interview was done because when Jose won the IBF title, I think Benavidez was fighting for WBC as well around the same time, and we wanted to big up a fight. So his dad told us to, in interviews to say some shit, talk shit. But I guess it didn't get to David, and we got a little back and forth, but we cleared it all up. No, they're good friends of ours. David's a great fighter, one of the best fighters in the division, hands down. It would be a great fight between them. I think they would both sit there and bang. I think it would be one of the most exciting fights in the super middleweight division. I think they both have power. They're both tall. They're both rugged. I think it would be one of the funnest fights in the division. But no, we got respect for David. Obviously we would prepare for him, but no, nothing bad to say about him. Good friends. That interview was for a reason, like I said, and it got all cleared up after.
Oh, okay, that makes sense then. No, you're right. That would be a hell of a fight if those two were able to get it dance together. That would be a real good fight. Are you the type of coach that even when a fight is not scheduled, you always have your fighters, just have them in shape, always working, always in the gym, or if there's not a fight announced, you kind of, take your foot off the gas and, let them relax a little bit? What is your approach to that?
I mean, depends a little both. If the fighter needs a rest, you got to give him some rest. But Jose's the type of guy that, he's a triathlete. He likes riding bikes. He runs marathons. He's always in shape. He likes being in shape. That's something he does, And I don't only train Jose, and I don't only work in boxing. I have other fighters that do kickboxing, so I'm their boxing coach. And, I have a schedule with other fighters and I have to travel with other fighters. So Jose knows that. So he has to be a professional, and he'll stay in shape. He knows if we have a fight schedule, then, he comes in already in very good shape. So we don't have to focus on losing the weight or doing nothing like that. Jose's a pretty big super middleweight, but he makes the weight fairly easy, so. But yeah, a little of both. Sometimes fighters do need a rest, and the good thing is I have a fighter that likes to stay in shape. He likes to work out.
Sorry about that, but that's excellent, man. That's excellent. I did see the Instagram of him on the bicycle, looking like he was doing some Tour de France. But yeah, that's a good thing. That's very, very good. Now, as far as his boxing ability, what type of fighter do you think it would take for that to be shown more in a fight? Like, what type of fighter would bring out his boxing ability that many people do not know about that much? And also, what would you say, like, which opponent in the past would you say previously brought out his boxing ability, just as a pure boxer?
I mean, obviously a style that would be good is a come-forward fighter. I mean, his last fights, he's had to deal with boxers that move, Durrell, a southpaw that moves and plant. Another fighter that likes to move and run around and, move around. They have more of that style. No one stands or comes at him. I think if we had like a style that pressures him, he's able to use the jab to move. I mean, he has 300 and something amateur fights, He has a good pedigree behind him. If you look at the fight with Porky Medina, when Porky and him were coming up, you could see that fight. You could see him using his jab, using his defense, moving his head. I mean, even with Durrell, Durrell barely touched him. If you look at the Plant fight, Jose came out clean. Durrell was all cut up and bruised. Jose didn't have nothing on his face. So a lot of people don't see it, but his defense on point. A lot of people think his defense on point. A lot of people think he's not just a reckless brawler. He knows how to come in there,
Oh, definitely. Hey, man, I see it. That's why, like, for me, he's the dark horse at 168. You know what I mean? Like, I look at that guy and I say, this is the guy who, like, can come in and just basically shock the world, with his skill set, because, I see the skill set. So besides that, that's pretty much it as far as questions is concerned. But I just want to thank you, man, for answering these questions. I definitely appreciate it. And hopefully, from this, his fan base can get a little bit bigger. And, man, if you're ever in Los Angeles, man, feel free to, come down here, link up with me, man. You got a brother down here, man. And I really definitely appreciate it. Do you have any other last words, or do you want to give, like, your social media contact in case, like, there's some, perhaps some fighters in your area looking for a new trainer or something like that? And if you want to, you can even give Uzcátegui's social media handle out so, he can get some more fans.
No, man, thank you. Thank you for the interview, man. It was awesome. And thank you, whenever you're in San Diego, same. Let me know. I'm here in San Diego, so whenever you're around, you want to hang out or come train, let me know. Also, on Instagram, it's just Cital Jose. It's just the opposite of my name is Cital, Jose. And Uzcátegui is Jose Bolivita Uzcátegui. We're only on Instagram. He's on Twitter, but I'm not. I'm only on Instagram. But thank you, man, for the interview. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you, man. I know you're busy and you have fighters and stuff like that. But yeah, man, this was good,
just basically to talk about a guy who, who basically has it, and is just in need of the chance to knock the door down, basically, which hopefully he'll get soon.